Hi, first grade. It's Mrs. Uhara with Spokane Public Schools, here today to do a little more math. We are going to be working today on adding within 100. I know, it seems like a really big number, but guess what? We already kind of know how to do it. I'm going to use a different model today to show you some different strategies how. So the model we're using is a 10 by 10 grid. So 10 by 10 means that there's 10 boxes that go across in the row, and there's 10 boxes that go down in the column. So if we have 10 across and 10 down, how many do we have altogether? That's the big question. I'll bet you could kind of guess just based on our goal today of adding within 100. But in case you want to check, double check, which every good mathematician does, let's do that. We could count each box, or we could figure out by the rows and columns. There are 10 in each column, so why don't we practice counting by multiples of 10 to see how many boxes there are. Let's go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Wow, there are 100 boxes in a 10 by 10 grid. Now, sometimes when I look at it like that, my brain gets a little overwhelmed. There's a lot of boxes. So something that's really helpful is if we draw in some lines. Now, if you are doing this math with some friends around you or your family, what do you notice about where these lines are drawn? I didn't draw them in just any place. I was kind of strategic about it. So if you notice where the vertical line is, what could you say about that? Yes, there are 5 columns on this side, and there's 5 columns on this side. So there's 50 squares on this side and 50 squares on this side. What about up here versus down below? Let's look at the horizontal. Let's look at the rows. Again, you're right. You saw that. There's 5 rows on top, so there's 50 up here, and there's 5 rows on the bottom, 50 on the bottom. That just kind of helps our brain break up this big 10 by 10 square a little bit, this grid. Now, I'm going to show you something else. What if I started coloring in these boxes? All right, so let's say I've got a box that looks like this. And on my 10 by 10 grid, I have one column colored in, and the rest are empty. How many squares are colored in? How many squares are empty? Can you make an equation to match? All right, so you're telling me there's 10 that are colored in for sure. And then you're telling me that there's all these blank ones. How many are empty? There's a lot of blank ones. So let's see. Let's double check how many columns are empty. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that are empty. So we know that there's 10 squares in each column. So if we have 9 columns that are empty, we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 that are empty. So could I write an equation that looks kind of like this? 10 plus 90 equals 100? Would it match? Yep, 10 plus 90. All right, let's try another one. You ready? Okay, what do you see? How many are colored in? How many are empty? How many altogether? Can you make an equation? Okay, so this time there's that 10 that was colored in last time, but we added some more. How many altogether are colored this time? You're right, 15. Because we know this is going to stop. This is cutting this right in half. So we've got 5 and 5. So we've got 10, 5, 15. If we have 15, that are colored, how many are empty? Maybe you did this, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, plus 5, 85. So we could say 15 plus 85 equals 100. Whoa! That's pretty cool. All right, let's try another one. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. How many do we have colored in? Now, we already said that there were 50 squares on this side, so we know there's 50. How many is that right there? Yep, 56. Then how many are empty? 10, 20, 30, 44. 56 plus 44. Well, I'm thinking one more. One more. You can do it. I mean, here we are. We're adding within 100. We're doing it. Okay, here is our 10 by 10 grid. Look at all that purple. How much did we color in? Okay, we know from here over, whoops, all this in here, there's 50. So we have 50, 60, 70, 75, plus 3, 78. How many are empty? So we have 78 plus what? That's right, 22. So you could write 78 plus 22. Oh my goodness. So much awesome math just happened, adding within 100. Thanks for joining me today. See you next time. Hey, first grade, it's Mrs. Yahara here, ready to do some more math together. Today we're going to be practicing adding and subtracting within 20, but we're really going to be focusing on the subtraction part. And if you'd like to join along using some materials, all you need is a paper and pencil, but you might even be able to practice doing some of this in your head or even using your fingers. So it's kind of up to you. I have some cards here that have some directions on them that are going to tell us exactly kind of where we're going to be going with our subtraction. So for instance, and today we are actually going to practice showing some of this thinking on a number line. So I'm going to pick our first card, and it says, how many jumps from 10 to 7? So how many jumps backwards from 10 to 7? So if I'm going to make this on a number line, and I'm going to use an open or an empty number line, and that's just a number line that doesn't have any numbers on it, we get to kind of create this and use this as a tool. So if I were to say that how many jumps from 10 to 7. So when I look at this question, I know 10 is greater than 7. So if I'm going from 10 and I'm going to try to get to 7, I am going to be going this way on my number line. So here's 10 and I want to get to 7. And I know that 7 is greater than 10, so I'm going to be making jumps to get me to a place where the number is smaller. So it's getting less and less. So let's see. So if I start here, and I'm going to circle the one I started with and go 10, one jump would be 9, another jump would be 8, and then another jump would be 7. How many jumps was that? Here's one. This is one jump backwards. So 10 minus 1 would be 9. Here's another jump backwards. And one more jump backwards to 7. All together, let's move this down here. All together, we have gone back 3. So another way that I could write this is I started with 10. I went back 3, and I landed on 7. So 10, take away 3 is the same as 7. So that's one way to do it. All right, let's try another one. Let's get another card. We'll erase our board here. Let's see. how many jumps from 12 back to 10? Now, maybe you're able to figure this out in your head and you're able to just maybe count that and keep track of it on your fingers. Maybe it helps to have a picture where you can draw it and show that. But sometimes people like to use a number line as a strategy to show their thinking. So let's just see. Let's see. Here we go. If we're at 12 and we're going to go back, so remember we're working on that subtraction part again. So we're at 12 and we want to go back to get to 10. How many jumps backwards will that be? Well, let's take a peek. If I go one jump, I know that it's 11. If I go, another jump, I know that it will be 10. Those aren't very even. Sometimes we have to pretend. I mean, I'm not an artist. So one jump, two jumps. Now, you might be someone who knows really is pretty good about skip counting by twos and be able to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and maybe can even go backwards. 12, 10, 8, 6. So maybe you could have skipped this step altogether and done and figured it out in your head, or just did a big jump of 2 going backwards. So then when you are writing it, you have your 12 take away 2 is the same as 10. Okay, let's see. Let's do another one. Let's see. Next. Oh boy, the numbers are getting a little bit bigger. How many jumps from 18 back to 15? Well, anyone have any ideas? Maybe you already know. So if you think you know, hold on to that answer. Let's work through it and let's see if you're right. And maybe you'll be able to explain it. See if you've already come up with the answer, talk to someone next to you, whether it's a grown-ups or maybe some friends or your siblings, someone next to you that you could talk to about that. How did you get your answer and why do you think that's what it is? Always got to prove it, right? So here we go. We know we're going to start at 18. We know we're going backwards. We know the number is getting smaller. We're going to land on 15. So we're going to put 15 right here. Starting here. Let's see. If I'm going to go back to 15, how many jumps will that be? Well, you know what? I just thought of something. I'm wondering, now, I'm wondering, I know that 8 minus 5 equals 3. That's just something I have in my brain. I'm wondering if that would be able to help me figure out this. If 8 take away 5 equals 3, what's 18? How many does it take to get from 18 to 15? Let's count. I wonder if it's 3. One jump would be 17. Another jump would be 16. And another jump would be 15. What? That's 3 jumps backwards. Remember, we want to make sure we put the takeaway sign, the subtraction sign, minus 3. We want to show our readers and show our thinking to be accurate. I'm even going to put some arrows. It's always nice to have arrows in there as well to really make it clear and precise of what we're doing on our paper. So if 8 take away 5 is 3, does that help me with 18 take away, or 18 trying to get to 15? Well, it certainly looks like it. Let's take a peek. So this is telling me 18, I started with 18, I did a big jump of 3, and that's what I needed to get to 15. Wow. Something to think about. Lots of conversation there. What about, oh boy, Let's make a big, oh boy, stand by. It says how many jumps back from 63 to 58. Those are big numbers. And I'm going to tell you, I'm getting a little panicked, like I'm starting to think I can't do it. I don't know. Those are big numbers. And then I'm remembering I just need to do some breathing. I'm going to calm my brain, calm myself, and make it happen. Let's see. Now, if I just practice what we've been doing, maybe I can make this work and calm my body a little bit. Let's see. If I have my number line, if I'm going to use this to help me, and I know, okay, I'm going to start at 63, and it says how many jumps back from 63. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going back, and I'm going to try to get to 53. Oh, excuse me, 58. Whoops. We can make that happen. Mistakes happen all the time. How do I get from here to here? Well, you know what? I know 63 take away 3 gets to 60. I wonder if I could do that. Let's see. If I just do a jump of 3, now I'm at 60. Okay. Okay, now I just need to get to 58. Okay, well, if I go one more jump back, that would put me at 59. Oh boy, am I close? I think I'm close. Do you think I'm close? I'm close. I'm pretty close. If I go one more jump back, I'm at 58. How many is that total? So I did a big jump of 3, another one, and another one. All together, this whole thing together would be a huge jump of 5. A backwards jump of 5. So let me write this one out. I'm feeling pretty clever about this one. Let's see. So I could do 63 minus 5 is the same as 58. So today we were practicing subtracting within 20, and actually we went beyond 20 with our last one, and we were showing that on a number line today. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.